Hold up, wait a minute. Is Lindsay Hubbard cheating on Carl? And is Carl's mom the one that prompted this breakup? And of course, we're going to talk about RHONY because I've got a guest on today that knows New York better than anybody else. So I hope you're ready for it. Let's dive in. Oh, hi, it's me, Zack Peter, pop culture junkie, reality TV insider, published author, and host of the No Filter with Zack Peter podcast. Here I'll bring you all the latest news on the Real Housewives, deep dives into celebrity legal scandals, and unfiltered combos with your favorite stars. I've got you covered. And yes, I always keep receipts. So be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for all the latest tea. Now, let's dive in. Welcome on in. I hope you guys had a lovely weekend and are enjoying your Labor Day. There was so much drama last week and the Heather and Justin of it all. But let's just say there's a little bit of a plot twist coming soon. So stay tuned for that. But until then, we're going to talk about Carl. We're going to talk about Lindsay. We're going to talk about New York. And we're probably going to go on a million different tangents because we're going to have a million different theories. So here to give me some hot takes and a few deep dives as well, please welcome my friend, Jess Rothschild.
Hey, everybody.
How are you, my love?
I'm good. How are you? I mean, we just texted, so I know how you are. Did they know how close we are? Like, do listeners know how close you, Jacques, and myself are?
I don't think so. I don't think they realize we talk like every single day. It's funny because even if we don't collab for like a few weeks, people are like, do you still talk to so-and-so? I'm like, we're like real friends. We talk every day.
No, like, I mean, even more than a few. I mean, the last time, because I've like stepped away from some Bravo stuff. Like, I don't do it the way you really like do Bravo news. But I think people don't know. Maybe they know that you guys are close, but I don't know if they know that we're all so tight.
Yeah, the three of us talk all the time.
Yeah.
So I know you are a big Summer House fan, and I know you were rooting for Carl and Lindsay, as was I. What was your reaction to the breakup news?
It actually it stopped me cold the way when the Scandival, like when that first news item dropped. Like I
Really?
had the same reaction of like just shock in my body, and then funnily enough, I immediately texted the same people, which were you and then my friends Brendan and Dan, because they too are big Summer House people, and specifically Carl and Lindsay, and I'm really shocked,
So
genuinely. And
so
I think, yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so the original report that came out was that Carl blindsided Lindsay by breaking up with her on camera after production had wrapped. He then hit up the producers and said that it was time to break things off. Now, there have been new reports that have come out that say that Lindsay wasn't entirely blindsided and that her reaction on camera was pretty emotionless. I'm assuming that maybe those leaks are coming from Carl's side of the park. So apparently the cast all saw this coming. I think Heather McDonald hinted it on her podcast as well, that she had heard about this a while back, presumably from Hannah Berner, because they were both kind of hanging out in Vegas a few weeks ago. I think they both
Yeah.
had shows that they were doing. So it seems like maybe Hannah and Paige tipped off, a few people, or at least were kind of, a little
Speculating.
speculating. And now here we are. They're broken up. The wedding was supposed to be in November, and there are all these different rumors, right? Rumors that Carl is struggling with his identity, rumors that Lindsay was possibly cheating, rumors that Carl's mom is the one that influenced this, that he kind of opened up to her, and she's the one that prompted. She saw that he was not happy or not wanting to move forward with this, so she's the one that kind of encouraged him to finally jump off the cliff here. I did a live, which I know you got to watch a bit of yesterday with Femme Tarot,
Mhm.
and she read the situation with the tarot cards. She says that Lindsay wasn't cheating, that Lindsay really did want to make this work. She says that she did see that Carl was possibly influenced by his mother. We did a really good deep dive into everything. That you guys should go to Femme Tarot's YouTube channel, but I want to know what your reaction is to everything.
I think, well, yeah, I mean, I think Carl has a very close relationship to his mother. Here's what I'll say. I saw the two. So I live in New York, and I always see them at Barry's Boot Camp, which is like, I mean, there's a Barry's Boot Camp in LA. I think they're actually like international, so everybody should sort of have a cursory knowledge of Barry's Boot Camp. It's like a fitness class. And I often am in the same class as them in New York City. And on July 14th, it was the 14th or the 15th, Lindsay did a charity class with some charity that she's affiliated with, and I am friendly with the instructor, and the instructor told me to come. This class was in the Hamptons. So this was like on a Friday before they were going to start filming Summer House for the weekend. Carl was there. So I chatted like one-on-one with both. I've interviewed both Carl and Lindsay separately. And so they know me just from like New York and taking the class together. Like I've had very like serious conversations with both of them off camera and even just like friendly conversations.
Yeah.
Carl was once again very serious. Like he's a serious guy. And he was talking about how a dentist I told him like that okay, well, I'll get into that after. But like the point is they were there. Lindsay was talking about the wedding. And Carl was like talking to me about something completely unrelated. And Lindsay was actually so the person whose class we took, she actually she just married a fellow instructor over Pride weekend, and they were talking about their wedding, and Lindsay was sort of saying, "Oh, I wish I could do with just like 14 people like you guys did." And so yeah, I mean, that's the last I saw of them.
So you really thought that they were going to get married in November?
Yes. And I send you their wedding website? Like their wedding website is out there for anybody.
Yeah.
Like this was happening in Mexico. I think the date was like November 13th. It was between the 13th and the 17th, something like that.
Yeah, I thought that they were going to go all the way. They're friends that I think when a relationship is built with the foundation of a friendship, I just kind of feel like maybe there is longevity. Initially, I thought that it maybe had to do with his sobriety, that, he just didn't see compatibility because she was drinking again, and they're very much a part of the show. And I don't think the show is a healthy environment for him. And I just don't think that he wanted to go down that path anymore. He just couldn't see himself as part of that lifestyle anymore. Do you think that she was cheating on him? Femtaro says that doesn't.
Obviously, no, absolutely not.
I think that stemmed from the other girls, like Paige and Sierra, who tried to push that last season that, she was flirting with other guys. Or whose dick did she touch?
Austin.
Austin. Oh, Austin. I would touch Austin's dick.
Here's the thing. As far as going back to them doing this on camera, I do not believe for a second that this was an authentic. We're going to be watching a reenactment. He absolutely would have ended it in real life, not on camera, and like blindside him, because newsflash, 90% of the scenes you see are reenactments in terms of like serious conversations. This goes back to when you saw Lindsay telling Carl on camera about the miscarriage there with Jason from Jason from Winter House. They are best friends. There's no way that she would then wait like a month to tell her best friend that she had a miscarriage. Like that's something you would tell like right away. So that was a reenacted scene. There's no way as viewer, listen, I really care for them as people, but as a reality TV viewer, I would love to see like an authentic reaction, but it's not realistic. That he's not that type of person. He would never like he's a good guy. Carl 6 or 7.0 is a good guy.
But do we think that like he's just so bad at communication that he felt like this was the only way to do it?
I mean, that's one thing. Like, you mean like she wouldn't accept it or take it unless it was like on camera?
Official, yeah. Or just maybe he was scared to do it behind, like maybe he was, I don't know, maybe he got caught up in the show.
Scared of what?
I don't know. I mean, maybe that she wouldn't accept it. I think maybe he got caught up in like the show of it all, and like their relationship continues to play out over the new season, and he just wasn't sure how to do it, and he kind of felt like he was pressured to do it on camera because the wedding was coming and their relationship was prevalent this season, and they sold the world this whole story. And I don't know. I feel like it was a strange move on his part, but I also feel like people are giving him a really hard time.
I think when this airs, and I so wish they would put nobody is looking for Winter House.
Nobody gives a shit about Winter House. Like
Nobody is looking for Winter House, and they're
nobody
not even
wants Tom Schwartz's reaction to Scandival.
they're not even on Winter House. They should rush edit. They're about to edit Vanderpump Rules goes into post-production in October for, I think, like a January premiere, either a late December or January premiere. They should put this on the same track. They need to rush edit this. I mean, but Bravo never makes the right decision, so that's not going to happen.
I mean,
we're going to have to sit through all of Winter. By the time this airs, nobody will have, because they already will have done all the interviews, much like Scandival, the way I thought they screwed that up, where like they could never, how I felt like they spoiled all the interviews with the podcasts and whatever.
I mean, Scandival was so good because it was such a shorter time frame. Yes, they did all the podcasts and stuff, but the time frame of everything, they put that together so fast. So it's possible that they can do it. It's just like, I mean, even Beverly Hills, like we're not going to get it until November, and that's going to be the start of it. So we're not going to get the Kyle and Mauricio stuff until probably January, February.
What do you think is the hotter story? I feel like Carl and Lindsay is way more interesting than Kyle and Mauricio is like weird whatever they're doing.
I mean,
or am I just living in a bubble of, because it seems like Jacques doesn't give two shits about Carl and Lindsay. Like, are we in the minority?
Most people don't watch Summer House. Like, Summer House is not a very popular show. It's become more popular in recent years, but it's not a very popular show. And I also feel like it's very like an East Coast show. Like a lot of people on the East Coast like Summer House more than the people on the West Coast. So I don't think that's why like this didn't blow up to the Scandival level. But I feel like, I mean, it's interesting. I'm interested in it, but I'm not going to be interested in it in 6 months. You know what I mean?
Well, first of all, the difference between this and Scandival is Scandival had an unknown party involved. That was crazy. That was first of all, that was different because nobody could have ever predicted that Raquel would be part of that. This is just a breakup.
What a loser. Look at where she's at now. Her Bethany reckoning is like going nowhere. Like Raquel fucked herself so bad, worse than she did on FaceTime with Tom Sandoval, because my God, she went and did this reality reckoning with Bethany, who doesn't give two shits about her. This lawsuit is going nowhere, and she burned her bridge at Bravo.
There's somebody in the chat, Tulle, Tulle. This person is dead on saying if it wasn't for Scandival, there would not be a new season of Vanderpump Rules. That's not true. I think it's absolutely true.
No, it already got picked up. The cast and the Alex Baskin clarified his statement about Vanderpump was continuing again for another season.
I had heard before they went into production, I heard that they had all gotten massive pay cuts, and before they went into production on last season, they were said, you're getting pay cuts. This is the last, you're getting one last shot, and that's it. That's what I had heard.
One last shot, as in we're uncertain if the show is going to get, like, there was no decision made. Like, people are making it seem like the decision was already made going into the new season. It was still up in the air whether or not it was going to come back or not come back, but there was a strong chance that it was going to come back. And regardless, we had all the Tom and Katie stuff that people were still interested. Like, the season overall wasn't terrible. I think, yeah. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with Vanderpump, but I think those rumors are not true. The cast has come out and said, no, we were never told that the show was going to end. Alex Baskin has come out and he's like, no, I know I said that. He meant it as in like coming out of a pandemic, that like we didn't really know what the future of Bravo and reality shows was going to be. But it was never officially canceled. That was like a low budget rumor that kind of like, perpetuated through Raquel fans that were like, Raquel saved the show.
Right.
Which Raquel did not save the show.
Yeah. I mean, going back to Carl and Lindsay, I definitely think we're going to be seeing a reenactment. And I definitely think this season is going to be just as interesting as last season's Vanderpump. 100%.
With Summer House?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And people, but here's the thing. We need to get it out sooner. Like, that's I'm not going to give a shit about their breakup come February, which is when Summer House usually airs.
Mm.
I mean, I think like here's the other thing, like Ultimate Girls Trip Morocco, like that we're not even getting until next year too. It's like, you know, the put out times are just so they drag on that it's like we need to I think we're all in agreement. We just need to start putting the content out a lot sooner.
Piper has entered the chat.
Hi,
She
Piper.
was what else I want to say about okay. The theories about Carl and Lindsay. Lindsay would never have cheated on Carl. I mean, there things have been floated, things have been suggested that, you know, things that Carl himself has talked about. Everyone needs to go back to there's a Watch What Happens Live where that happened in the last like year and a half where he was already with Lindsay, where Andy asks Carl again about his statement that the best blowjob he ever got was from a guy in that threesome. And he tells the story again. And what's interesting in that clip is he says, I wonder, can we like throw it in here or no?
The clip? I don't even know where the clip's at.
It's on YouTube. Okay, whatever. I'll like summarize it. He says, he basically retells the whole story. It was on the after show and says that it was very confusing for him because he knows he's a straight guy, but like it sort of like sent him, and that he again said that in confidence to Steven, who was
Right.
a gay guy on the show at the time, and he was, I think, taken aback that he had brought it up on camera. So Andy has, and so he literally says on the right, he goes, I'm confident, or he's like, I'm secure that I'm a straight man. So like, I just thought that was interesting because I feel like what are, aside from like Lindsay, he knows Lindsay's wild. That's not new. It can't be because of her drinking.
I don't think it's because of her drinking. I think he's dealing with his own, and I kind of talked about this with Femme Tarot. Like, I think he's going through an identity crisis. I think he knows his time on the show is done. Because, I mean, how much longer can he realistically stay on the show when he just can't relate to any of them? Like, the show is based on drunken debauchery, and he's just not into that. He doesn't have Loverboy anymore. He's losing Summer House. I think he's going through the same identity crisis that Kyle's going through. Why is everybody... I was going to say, why is everybody getting sober and going gay? But there you go, guys. Get sober and then you'll find out who you really are.
Did you say that yesterday I heard you say that somewhere. Did you say that with the Femme Tarot?
No, I think I said that to you yesterday.
Oh my God.
I don't think I've said that on air. No, but like I feel like he's in this place where he's getting sober, he's getting clear on what he wants. Same thing with Kyle. I think Kyle getting sober, she's realizing that her expiration date on Beverly Hills is coming to an end. She's realizing that her relationship that was once fun no longer fulfills her in that way. And she's now, you know, going through this sort of metamorphosis of trying to figure out what the rest of her life is going to look like. If it's not going to work out with Mauricio, then what does she want? What is going to fulfill her? If Beverly Hills has come to an end, which I think it has for her, I think she's done, and I think she's ready to move on. How much more can she really give to the show? And I think Carl's going through that same thing where he's just like, who am I? What do I want? How am I going to make my money moving forward? Because
can I say something? My prediction was that this was going to be the last season of Summer House. I did think that Lindsay and Carl would get a wedding spinoff. Why? Because Ryan Serhant and Amelia, who are far less popular. Yes, thank God you put this person. Can you read that? Because I was that's what I was just laughing at, was this quote right here that's on the screen. You go ahead and read this.
Yeah, the comment is, the fact that Carl let a man suck his dick is weird, not that he enjoyed it. Of course, a gay guy is going to have a grade A head scale. Yeah.
That's hilarious. So my prediction was always that this was going to be the last season of Summer House proper in the Hamptons. Like, it really has run its course. And that they were going to get a spinoff, because if Ryan Serhant is getting all these spinoffs, like he's not Lindsay and Carl. He's not a Bravo celebrity the way they are. And I always thought that Lindsay would be the first person to jump from one of the quote unquote kids shows to Housewives. And I thought that would be a way for Carl to kind of recede into the back. He can be Abe or Pavitt on RHONY, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that he just saw he couldn't see himself with Lindsay forever. I don't know if I know that that's a lot of
Why
speculation.
not? I can see myself with Lindsay forever.
Not anymore. Yeah, yeah, but you're different. You're not Carl. You're not
Why am I not Carl?
I mean, listen. Well, can we talk about that? Because I feel like most people are afraid to like approach that topic of Carl getting a blowjob from a man and feeling confused. And I feel like both being gay, like we can, relate to some of these things. Is it weird that he enjoyed? I mean, I think he got good head from a dude. Like, I don't think it's
Well, he said that he was wasted. You really should watch this clip, everybody. If you just
no, he told the story on my show. I remember when
Oh,
that
he
first all
did. Oh,
happened. He was
perfect.
on
Okay.
here, he told the story. So yeah, he said that it was very confusing, and he said that it was also kind of traumatizing for Steven to kind of talk about it on the show because he trusted him and he didn't think that it was gonna get out there. And I think that he's a little more insecure about that because maybe he isn't fully secure in himself. That's not to say that he is gay or isn't gay or whatever. I'm not trying to say that, but I think he has some internal stuff that he needs to face.
After all of my personal one-on-ones with Carl in the locker room of Barry's boot camp, if I do not get his big coming out interview, I'm going to be personally offended.
I think he would give it to you. He would give it to you. I
He's been in my apartment. I deserve this.
I agree.
I'm kidding. I have no idea. But like, I mean, Heather was saying like she always thought he was gay. Did you? Did you? I don't. Yes, he's a feminine. He's sort of like a feminine. Yes, he dresses.
He reminds me of Colton Underwood.
Isn't he gay?
He's the bachelor that came out.
Yeah. Listen, we're all gonna find out very soon. I don't know. I truly don't know.
I
mean,
see him at least.
it
I
would
can
make
see
a
him
lot of things make sense
yeah.
if he actually is.
Does that save him in the public though? Like if he comes out and is like, "Listen, the reason I broke it off with Lindsay is because I love her to my core,
Can I
but
tell you something?
I like this."
If he comes out, he's going to be a hero of the nation.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
People love a struggle and then like, and I'm gay.
Yeah.
People like that. And also, it
I
would
think a lot of
explain.
people don't like Lindsay, that they would rather root for Carl
Yeah.
rather than rally behind Lindsay.
And people always say he's boring. Like Jacques hates him because he's boring, this, that, whatever. This is the one thing that would explain. This is the one thing that would explain a lot of things. It would explain the drug abuse, the alcoholism, like a lot of. I just did a series on Fire Island, and in that series, I interviewed Margaret Cho, and we talk about how there's a lot of sobriety in gay places, in gay party towns, like Palm Springs, like Puerto Vallarta, like Fire Island and Provincetown. And I posed the question because it turned out that a lot of the people I interviewed for the series were in fact sober. And I said, like, is this because where there's a lot of gay plus partying equals a lot of sobriety? And Margaret Cho said, it is a symptom of the unfairness of it's the drinking and the drug abuse is a symptom of the people. She said something really great, something effectively. It's the unfairness of an unfair world.
As in, like, people are running to drugs and alcohol to escape themselves? Like, they're not, like,
Especially back in the day when it wasn't as accepted. And if you look at somebody like Carl, listen, we are so out on a limb here. Like, if he's not gay, we really should be shutting the hell up. It's like we're acting as if he actually came out. So I want to say we need to maybe like reel it in because the fishing line is so far out now.
I don't think I don't want to say he's gay, but I don't think he knows. I think he's discovering who he is, and he's maybe exploring other sides of him. I'm not saying his sexuality, but I just think he's in, again, this Kyle Richards metamorphosis phase of like, now I'm having to discover who I am, and I'm realizing the things that made my life feel complete, being a part of Loverboy and building this business, having a relationship with Lindsay, who I've loved so much for so long, and being on this show that's been a big part of my life for so long. Those are three big things that are now leaving his life that I think right now he's just all sorts of confused, and he's kind of just going through it, and he doesn't know where to go from here.
I feel so badly for Lindsay. She wants to have kids. Like I wouldn't even be surprised if they froze embryos,
Oh, I agree.
which would be devastating. Like she wants to have kids, and like now she has to start all over. Well, he may have sexual kinks, which is why he seems sexually adventurous. Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. And for people who I want to just really dispel the theory that like, oh, this was all a stunt. They were never really
Yeah, I
together.
don't think that that's true.
Well,
think
I know for a fact it's not true because I see them together in real life all the time. They come into the workout together. They often work out right next to each other. They'll run right next to each other. And then they leave together to go home. I mean, I know, listen, they could also be just best friends. And meaning you can be in a relation. I was in an 8.5 relationship, which in the end, we really were best friends for the past few years. Like the sexual element had died down,
yeah.
which happens a lot. That is not just like a gay thing. That happens with all couples as you are together for so many years. But they were only dating for 2 years. So I
Yeah.
would be curious, like, if they were having sex. 'Cause
Yeah.
I never really got that. I never got that vibe from them.
I mean, they seem to be well, I mean, they do have that friendship. I mean, again, if he came out as gay, that would make a lot of things make a lot of sense.
That would make everything make sense.
Yes. And
Everything over since COVID would make sense.
yes, I agree.
Even how he used to treat women. He had said Lindsay's his first real relationship in like maybe ever. I heard an interview with him saying that like a long time ago. I listened to an interview with him, and he always had these like short flings. I think he never slept with Danielle. They never slept together. They just like made out a few times. They didn't like really. That wasn't a real relationship.
Yeah. No,
So that may also be why Danielle was so like, what's going on? Maybe Danielle felt this whole time he was gay.
This person said, "I'd like to hear more from Zack, the gay guy." First of all, Jess is also gay. And
Yeah, if anybody doesn't know, I'm not talking out of my ass here.
yeah, her 8.5-year relationship was with a woman.
Yeah.
And also, like I've said what I said, I think he's going through. I don't think he knows if he's gay or not. I don't think he knows about himself enough. That's not specific to his sexuality. I think he's going through it, and I think he just is trying to figure out who he is overall, and his sexuality will ultimately be something he comes to a conclusion on as well. But I know right now he's hiding out in Minnesota. He's like just trying to lay low.
Yeah, that's so weird. What's in Minnesota?
Luke.
Yet Luke wasn't part of the
Circle jerk?
oh my god. You know, can I tell you I always thought Luke was gay?
Yeah.
I
Oh my God.
always thought Luke was gay.
My God, Jess, imagine that threesome, Carl and Luke. Oh, better than Austin.
Threesome, what threesome? That's a twosome.
Me.
Oh, you. Oh my god.
Yep.
That is weird that he went to
Because
Minnesota.
they have such emotionally unavailable attitudes when it comes to women that, like, maybe they should explore men. And what better way to explore it than with your bro friend?
And Ashley, that would make sense. Ashley Darby loves herself a gay guy.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, I really hope we're right about it. Otherwise, I'm saying it before anybody else can say it. Zach and I should be fully thrown in jail for what we're saying if this is not the case. Like I'm saying it is very inappropriate if we are
wrong.
Totally off.
Well, yeah. Well, I want to talk to you about RHONY then.
Okay.
Because I know this reboot is here and there's a lot to dive into with it.
Yeah.
But first,
hang on 1 second.
Yeah. Really
Excuse
quickly,
me?
guys, I do want to say that,
So
I love to shout out my pals at Drizzly. You know
oh,
that I love to be a good host, and part of being a good host is having everyone's favorite drink handy. Aperol Spritz, perfect for summer. Vodka soda with a twist, easy peasy. Spicy margarita with a tahine rim and a splash of Grand Marnier Cordon Rouge. No problem, baby, because I've got Drizzly, the go-to app for drink delivery. Drizzly's here to be your partner in parties, meaning they're here to help you take the grunt work out of the get together so you can be a confident host and actually party at your own party. Drizzly's the most convenient way to buy beer, wine, and spirits with delivery to your door when you want it, all from the comfort of your couch. The convenience speaks for itself, and any true Housewives fan knows the importance of being a good party host. And a good host has Drizzly. So download the Drizzly app or go to drizzly.com. That's DRIZLY.com right now. The link is in the description below. Must be 21 or older to order. All right, let's talk New York. Jess, are
yes.
you a fan of the reboot or are you not a fan of the reboot?
I'm fine with it. I'm kind of neither here nor there. To be honest, the only 2 that I'm, like, kind of interested in are Jenna Lyons and Erin.
Yes. And I will say at the beginning, I thought Jenna Lyons was super overhyped, but now there's just something fascinating about her that I actually am kind of enjoying. I'm like, she's just not a housewife, but she's on
Yeah.
Real Housewives. And I find it so fascinating.
Yeah. I I just love that she's quirky, and I actually just did an episode with Jamie Stein, and he kind of, like, goes into he, like, sort of, like, channels, Jenna. That episode is gonna be out when this is out, and but I love Jenna Lyons. Like, I don't know if anybody here watched Stylish. She's just like a she's not made for TV.
Yeah.
She's just, like, quirky. The show listen, you and I have just said, if this show was not called RHONY,
Hmm.
this would be the Real Girlfriends of Paris.
Yeah. Yeah, and listen, it's not a bad show. I mean, I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, I would maybe give it like a 6.5. It's not bad. I don't think like I would give it a B minus, a C plus. I don't the content is fine. I don't think it's groundbreaking. I don't think it's Roni. I don't think it in any way, but again, I've said this so many times. The original Roni was never supposed to be a true reflection of the women of New York. It was always supposed to be
Right.
this quirky show about these quirky Upper East Side white women that are super affluent that nobody can relate to, but we're kind of watching it to laugh at them and get a peek at their lives. Like it was
Yeah.
always meant to be more of a satire than it was supposed to be a true representation of what it means to be a woman in New York. So I feel like the fabric of the show is completely changed. I do feel like the Jenna Lyons piece is a little strange because I don't think she really relates to any of these women or really knows any of these women, but I do find her very interesting and fascinating to watch on television. I did really like Sai at the beginning, and now I find her incredibly obnoxious. I like
Same.
I like
Same.
Erin. Erin's a little annoying, but she's the only one. I feel like she's true New York, right? She's a mom, she's a wife, she's got a career, she's a hustler, she's got grit, she's got that fabric of a true New York woman. Um, Uba, we didn't even really see her in this most recent episode, which was interesting. But I did
Uba is, like, in her own
world.
show.
Yeah. Brand.
Uba, like, makes cameos. Like, I think
Yeah.
she's funny, but, like, what are we doing here?
We don't know much about her, and we don't really get much of her story.
What is your prediction next season 2? By the way, I don't even know how they're gonna do a reunion. What is there to resolve?
Or discuss like what they're going to talk about. Brandon hitting
I mean, how can they stretch this to 2 parts?
the reunion. No, they can't. I don't know. I mean, there's not enough conflict. The stakes aren't that high. Everyone loves it. There's the petty drama, right? But it's like if there's petty drama, then again, what do we talk about at the reunion? Like the stakes are so low.
Right,
The relationships, we're not rooting for a repair in these friendships because it's not a years long relationship that we're invested in.
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
540 people watching live on YouTube right now, guys. If you're watching this, hit the like button and be sure to give Jess a follow on all social medias. Check out her podcast, Hot Takes and Deep Dives, and her new podcast, Finding Fire Island. Who would you say are your least favorites on the show, Jess?
I would say s I lo Everybody except the other two. I mean, least favorites, Jessel, I just don't get. Like,
I don't get Jess. I don't get why people love Jessel so much. I get it. She's like
yeah,
weird in a Ramona-y type of way, but like, I don't know. To me, it was, I don't, it's just,
yeah.
I think she's overhyped too. I don't
I
really get
find
it.
Sai, I agree with you completely on Sai. I liked when she told her backstory, but like that doesn't equate to now you're a completely obnoxious human being. And then, like, and I also find her, you know what I really didn't like?
Hmm.
When I find when she like kind of like cuddles up to Jenna and is like, "Oh, tell me, I heard you broke up with your girlfriend. Like, tell me
Mhm.
what happened." It's like, girl, Jen Alliance doesn't know who the fuck you are and never will. She do not ask her about her breakup
Yeah,
with a
Jenna,
woman that you've never met, don't know her name. I found that I get that like she's trying to do the show, but it came off so forced and fake. It creeped me out. Sometimes like the forced intimacy really hits me sideways. I don't like it.
yeah, I agree, and I get it. Like they were supposed to sell us on their relationships and on their friendships, but it's just, it's not. It ain't doing it for me.
Yeah. I mean, I really do like Erin. You know what I find so interesting? How as soon as it came out that she donated $400 to Trump, to the Trump organization, that the audience, or at least like the people on Twitter, like the most vocal members of the Bravo community, like seemingly like flipped on her as if 70% of all of these women you're watching across all of these
That was
shows
so stupid. Oh my god, these fucking content creators and these people on Twitter that like want to make a big deal out of nothing. It's like, what, she made a donation a long time ago and they're trying to make it out to be like, do you not realize most of your favorite housewives are fucking super conservative and voted for Trump and are
I
secretly
just
Trump fans? Like, fuck off. Like, who cares who people, like, what their political affiliation is? Like, it just, I hate when people want to act so, holier than thou and righteous about whatever. Like, people don't.
it's I guess it's then an opportunity for that person to then like virtue signal.
That's what it is. It's all virtue signaling and it's
Yeah.
bullshit. It's such fucking bullshit. And you pick and choose which housewives you want to marginalize because of their political viewpoints and which ones you still want to stand because you think they're so cute and they can give a good read in their confessionals. It's like, fuck off with your virtue signaling. I can't with that bullshit.
Yeah.
Sorry. Now you got me all fired up.
No, no, no. I wanted to like I'm glad we like said all that. But yeah, I like
I
Erin. Like
agree.
I
I
do find
get
her.
turned on Erin for that because I think Erin was great at the beginning. I loved Erin at the beginning. I still like Erin, but I judge her based off of the lens of her being on this reality show. I don't judge her based off of,
Right.
who she voted for or what she gave money to or whatever. And I think her
Yeah.
even coming out and speaking about it, I think Bravo forced her to do that and make that statement.
Do you think they will bring back the entire cast? I could see them maybe getting rid of Uba, actually.
I think they'll demote Uba to a friend of somebody in the live chat. I think Storm said that they're looking to add a seventh woman.
Okay.
I don't
Well,
know
it
if
was
we need
originally supposed to be
another.
7.
Yeah, I don't know if we need another. Could you imagine if Lizzie stayed in it?
Well, I
I
don't
think
really
that
know
would
anything about her.
I think that would have made it more interesting because
Mm,
of,
mm.
well, but then I think it was getting political with her as well. That I don't know.
Wait, you know what I think is gonna be really interesting? So now Jenna is in a new relationship with, like, a real New York, like, power lesbian. This woman, Cass Bird, who is new out of a divorce. Like, she recently split with her wife, and they've been dating, and this woman is like perfectly comfortable like being public and whatever. And so I think this next season is going to be very interesting for Jenna, or very different, because suddenly now she can share more. I wouldn't be surprised if the woman comes on the show. Like she's seen,
Really? You think Jenna's gonna go there?
dude, Jenna, if you look on Instagram, Jenna will take a photo of Cass Bird, her girlfriend, and just the photo of Cass Bird, and post it straight to grid. Just like, this is my girlfriend. This is who I'm fucking. Isn't she hot? Like, Jenna's not even in the photo.
I mean, that would make Jenna more interesting.
That is a far cry from like what we've
Yeah,
seen so far. I think
yeah.
being with somebody who celebrates the show and sort of celebrates and like bringing Jenna out, and like it's like it's okay to be, yeah, see, Cass Bird is fab, yes, she's like a big deal, like a big deal. Yes.
Okay. I don't know who
So
Casper is.
she's she's a photographer. She's a photographer in like the Annie Leibovitz like vein.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you just is it a New York thing? Is she a New York photographer?
Yeah.
Yeah, say Storm saying New York power couple vibes. I'm so like out of the loop when it comes to New York. I feel like anything like even when I see you go to Fire Island all the time, I'm like, I don't understand what
Yeah.
Fire Island is.
Well, let me ask you.
I've
Let me
never
ask you.
been.
Let
Yeah.
me ask you a question. Have you ever been to like a gay destination vacation?
No.
Does that interest you or does that like turn you off?
I wouldn't say it turns me off. I just don't think I've ever done it.
But would you want to?
I would be open to it. I would be
Like on your Instagram, are you just are like my Instagram is filled with like I'm granted I'm more New York, but like, just because like the people I know in real life are, people who live near me who I know. But is your Instagram like filled with people like flitting around Fire Island the way mine is?
no.
Uh,
No. It's not. My Instagram is really like curated about like,
oh, so is my can I tell you?
like motivational videos
Oh,
and
yeah,
like
yeah,
I
yeah.
like yeah, I mute a lot of my friends to be honest with you. I mute a lot of like people because I
Mm,
want to make sure that when I check in with them, it's like a conscious check-in of like, I'm thinking of this person. How are they doing? Let me go on their feed and see what they're up to.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but no, but I mean, from what I've seen, because I know everybody's talking about Finding Fire Island, which is your podcast. I saw even Steven, who I was just in Vegas with. That was actually fun. When I went to Vegas for Erica's show and we did
yeah,
a boys trip, that's the first time I've ever done a boys trip
yeah,
and done Vegas, like really done Vegas, like as an adult. We went to the spa, we had a pool day, we did the Erica's show, we did, a nightclub afterwards where we got tickets to go see Zed. Like, we really did a boys Vegas trip, which was
yeah.
um that I feel like I don't know, I'd be open to like doing a boys trip to Fire Island for a weekend.
Well, I've run into Steven Faces by Bravo on Fire Island.
Yeah, he's always there.
Yeah. He didn't go this year though. Because I texted him. But I was so honored. He said, I can't believe the only podcast I've ever listened to completion is ending. He was like depressed.
Is
I was
there
like,
gonna
that's
be
like
more? Well, explain to people what Finding Fire Island is.
it's a documentary. It's like an audio documentary series that's like totally sound designed. So like think of like true crime, the way those shows are like fully produced, sound designed, like going into but it's a comedy. So like Matt Rogers, Joel Kim Booster, Margaret Cho, Ben Rimmelauer, who is Luann's cabaret director, Brian Moylan is in it. So it's got like a lot of really funny people. And then people who've been there from like the 50s and the 60s. So like it's grounded in like it has both things. So it's like it's a comedy, but also is rooted in like real history.
Yeah, and it gives you the whole history of like what fire because I had no idea what Fire Island was before you making me go watch the Fire Island movie. Which,
Ah, yes,
yeah,
yes.
and it's funny that you have so many of the stars that were in that movie
Yeah.
that are also now on the podcast because they are so involved on Fire Island.
It's so funny. Last week, I was seeing Patti LuPone performed on Fire Island last week, and I went to the show. It was unbelievable. And Matt Rogers was with Bowen Yang and like all of their like friends. Like they were seeing the show. I ran into them after they were getting pizza, and I like said, hey, like I finally got to like thank Matt like in person and like thank like you helped make it like he's the one who talked about eating ass and getting sick.
I know, and then that was all over the headlines. I remember seeing that on my Twitter feed and being like, actor eats ass and gets sick on Fire Island. I'm like, what? And then it was Matt Rogers from your podcast.
Okay, wait, this person is nailing it. Right. Storm Rogers, a summer house Fire Island, that would be something. I have been calling for this for years. If they did where to listen to it, any podcast, it's called Finding Fire Island. We're any podcast app. What was I going to say? The thing they're missing on Bravo, and I know that like you're working potentially on something. I don't know if we can talk about that or not. No? Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay. What Bravo is missing is if you did a summer house Fire Island or a summer house Provincetown, it's the same thing. People hold up in a house on the weekends, they go to the city. This would be, I mean, maybe it would be too risque.
I mean, it's Bravo. Come on.
What does that mean?
That like they push the boundary. They like risque. They like to play with fire.
Okay. Then
better than on Fire Island.
And what I've heard, so I had a guy on my show. I did a deep dive on Provincetown, which is another gay destination, which is all the way on the tip of Cape Cod. It's gorgeous. It's wonderful. You would probably actually like Provincetown more than Fire Island, to be honest. But he was saying how he had been approached in casting for a show. The Shed, who produces the new RHONY and Salt Lake City, well, they produced the old RHONY too. They were trying to put together a show, and he was cast on something. It ultimately fell through, whatever. But they're always asking him, "Can you pitch anything? Can you pitch anything?" And they told his whole thing is Summer House Provincetown. That is the show.
Yeah.
And they said Bravo will not take an all gay cast. They're not ready for it right now.
Yeah.
They kept saying we need more women. We need straight couples and women.
Yeah.
So Bravo is not going to do an all gay cast now. I think better than Real Friends of WeHo. Well, totally, because you're in like a destination.
Yeah. And Real Friends of WeHo is just a total miss of the mark.
Yeah.
Did you watch it? Did you like it?
I watched like 2 episodes and then I forgot about it, to be honest.
Yeah, I just don't think there was anything interesting about it.
Yeah.
Okay, your podcast is called Finding Fire Island. You have another podcast called Hot Takes and Deep Dives. You had plenty of hot takes today, Jess. Anything else you want to leave the audience with before we wrap?
I think we said it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we said it all. I know we wrote Carl's mom getting involved. I think he confided in his mom, and his mom said, it's better to break it off than to get divorced. And then it's bad news because they would have combined assets and it would have been bad.
Yeah, I agree. All right, guys, give Jess a follow at JessXNYC. Listen to her podcast. Both podcasts available on all podcast platforms. Finding Fire Island is really good. The editing is so good. The sound design is great. She's all over the press right now promoting it. So go and give her some love. People are sad that it's now over, but that just means you can go and binge the whole season now. Finding Fire Island. If you guys have been enjoying me today, you can give me a follow at Just Plain Zack or follow the podcast at No Filter with Zack on the Instagram. Oh, we didn't talk about Vanderpump Rules.
Yeah, we did.
The crazy fight that we saw, the finale fight. I didn't even tell people I was supposed to be at that party, and I ended up not going at the last minute. Oh, well, I guess that'll be Wednesday's episode. Stay tuned. All right, guys. Thank you. Tune into new episodes of No Filter with Zack Peter every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I will see you live this Thursday night on YouTube for our next live stream. And until then, enjoy your Labor Day. Don't work too hard because, well, actually, it is Labor Day, so go work your ass off. All right, guys. Love you. Mean it. Bye.